Hey everybody, forgive the rudimentary Excel spreadsheet here, but I've lost all of my skills at Visual Basic. I tried and failed. I used to be good at Visual Basic, but I'm not anymore. So anyway, the point is that I was trying to make a little program to explain a dice game that I used to like to play, and I can't do it. So we're gonna have to settle with the next best thing, which is Excel. Anyway, the purpose of this is to explain what the game called Bones is. Now, I know Bones is also slang for dominoes, and it's also slang for just throwing the dice in general, throwing the bones. But there is a game that my cousin introduced me to when I was about 10 years old called Bones, and all you need is six-sided dice to play. And what I've done here is made just 6 cells that are random between 1 and 6, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'll explain why in just a second. Anyway, the point of Bones is to score the first to X points wins. X points is however many you set. Usually 5,000. But you can set it for 2,000, 1, 6, 7, 18,000 if you want. It's just randomly, usually it's 5,000. And how you play is you throw dice and you score them based on what you roll. Let's, for sake of argument, let's just do the randomizer here. So if I just update the spreadsheet, there. Okay, ignore the other cells for a minute and just concentrate on these 6. I rolled a 4, 5, 5, 6, 5, and 4. Now the scoring system works like this. 3 of a kind is the hundreds value of that number. So 3 2s is 200 up to 3 6 for 600. 3 1s, however, is 1,000. That's the only difference. And the only other difference is a single 5 can be saved as 50 points. And that comes into play in just a second. As you can see, I rolled 3 5s. That is 500 points. Now, what you normally would do, to get on the board, you need X number of points even to start. For the sake of argument, not for the sake of argument, normally the rule is 750 points to get on the board. If you don't roll 750 in subsequent rolls, you won't get on the board. And if you fail, you have to pass on to the next player. So that's the starting point. Now you can make this anything you want, and you can even make a 0 point gain on the board, so whoever rolls points can get on. But the 750 is a barrier you have to usually get over to start playing. And that actually can hold a lot of people up. You could be on the board if you roll 3 1s, and other people could be never get on the board until you win. It's really tense that way. Anyway, so I just updated the cells again, so I re-rolled. God damn it. Anyway, you saw I had 3 5s. So for the sake of argument, let's say I keep my 3 5s. Now I've kept my 3 5s. So I have 3 dice left over. You would put your dice aside. You'd hold them aside. I normally wouldn't keep 5s because they're used usually as the boobies, as the 50s that you just pull aside when you need points. So it's usually not advisable to keep 5s because then 5s are all you can roll, really. But I'll keep them. Now I have 3 dice left, so I will go to the 3 section down here, and I will update the spreadsheet one more time. And this is what I rolled: 5, 1, and 6. Ignore everything else. I just rolled 5, 1, and 6. Okay, after you roll triplets, if you roll three threes, we'll say, and the next set of dice you rolled another 3, you can pull the 3 out as an extra 100 points, regardless of what numerical value it is. This is how 5s can change the rules. Now that I rolled 3 5s, my next 3 here is 5, 1, 6. Well, I have to pull the 5 out because if I don't roll points, you can keep rolling till you don't roll points. As soon as you don't roll points, all the points you've collected have vanished. So you can stop rolling at any time provided you're on the board. It sounds confusing, but it's not. So I've rolled 3 5s for 500. My next roll was 5, 1, and 6. I'm keeping the extra 5. I'll put it here. So this symbols that I didn't, so I rolled 3 5s for 500 points. Actually, I can put it here if I want. So that represents 500, that represents 600, because one extra number becomes another 100. So as you can see, I'm not at 750 yet, so I still need 150 points, but I only have 2 extra dice to roll. So I've pulled 4 aside. So I have 2 dice left. Well, the sheet updated as I hit enter, and it became 4 and 5. For the sake of argument, let's say that's what I rolled. So I rolled a 5. Let's keep the 5. Now as I update the sheet, the single one is going to roll too. So let's pretend that's my roll. So that was 500, 600, 700. I have to get 50 more points, and usually that would be a 5. But since I have 5s on the board as my triplet, it would represent another 100. So enter, watch this number. It's a 1. I rolled a 1. What does that mean? It means all these points mean jack shit. I didn't roll points on my last roll, so my turn is done. Next player goes. And I'm done. Next player. So next player rolls. Let's update the sheet. Next player rolls 2, 4, 5, 2, 2, 6, 3 2s, and a 5. Oh, oops. Oh, fuck. I hate it. Updates the sheet again. God damn it. Okay, you saw 3 2s and a 5. So what you could choose to do is actually do 3 2s and either choose... You could either keep the 5 as a 50 and roll everything else again in hopes to get a higher triplet, in hopes to get a 6 or 3 1s, which is what I usually do. Or you could let's use this example, or you could keep the 3 2s and keep that as 200, which is usually not smart unless you're desperate. Or 3 2s is actually fine if you're already on the board and don't want to risk your points, so 2s and 3s can work. But if you're not on the board yet, you probably don't want to keep the 3 2s. So but you have to keep points every roll, or you're done. So I would choose to keep the 5 as 50, and then re-roll 5 dice, because technically it would be 250 if I kept them, but that would only leave me 2 extra dice, and I'd have to roll either 2s or 5s, which is not a bad option because it's a 1 in 3 chance. You see what I'm saying? But this way I get a better probability of rolling a higher triplet. So I'm going to keep just the 5 and roll 4 dice. So these 4. I'm going to roll these 4 now. I've rolled a 3, 6, 4, 2, and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god. If you roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's 1,200 points. However, you might say, well, you did roll that because you kept a 5. No, no, no. The dice you keep to the side don't count for your next roll. So this technically would be a bust. You had 50, you're not on the board. Time for the next person to roll. Let's update the sheet. Next person rolls. 1, 4, 2, had just a 5. Okay, fine. I'll keep the 5, and I'll roll the 4 next. So the 5, you have to keep the 5. If you don't keep the 5, you don't have any points, and you're not on the board. So I keep the 5 as 50 points, roll down the 4. Now I rolled, oh my god, they all show points. They all show points. This is getting to the next set of rules. 6, 6, 6, 5, 5. Well, the 2 5s only count as 50 apiece. Now you could argue and say, wait a minute, you saved a 5 here. If I save 3 5s, don't they promote to 500? No, because you save them individually. They only count as a triplet if they're in your roll, not in your save bin. But these all show points. So I have 6, 6, 6, 5, 5. Well, I would keep 6, 6, 6, and I would keep the 5s as well. There's no reason not to. And I would keep the 5s as well. These are separate 5s, though. You got to make sure you have a distinction here. That's 600, 650, 7, 750. I'm on the board. Now here's the thing. Normally, if you're smart, you would pass and say, I'm on the board now. I now can roll any number of points and then pass. If you're already on the board, here's step 2. All 6 of your dice now show points. So what you can do is remember what you scored. For the sake of, I'll just put it here as 750. I scored 750 points with 6 dice. Now, since they all showed points, you can reset the dice. Oops. You can say, okay, I have 750. I'm going to gamble. I'm going to keep going. So I now have 6 dice to roll. Again. So I have these dice. So I'm going to roll, reset the sheet, and go. I just rolled a 6, 3, 5, 3, 1, 1. No triple 1s, no triple 3s, but a 5. Well, that's 50 points. So I would keep the 5. I have no choice. I would keep the 5. And now technically I have 800 points. Do I roll the 4 dice and try to keep going? Try to get another triplet? Or do I stop? The thing about it is if you fail to roll points, all the points you've collected are gone. So if you're not on the board yet, you fucked yourself. If you're on the board, at least you're still on the board and can roll next and not have lost everything. I'm at 800 points with 4 dice to roll. I'm going to roll the 4 dice. So I just rolled a 4, 2, 2, 1, and 3. No points. No triplets, no 5s. I fucked myself. That was 800 points down the shitter. That's how it works. That's the name of the game. So you see how it works. But if I was smart at the beginning, I rolled 750 with 6 dice showing, I would have stopped. I would have stopped and said, I'm on the board at 750, player 1. And then this could be player 1, then player 2 has to roll. So player 2 rolls the 6 dice and rolls a 4, 4, 4, 1, 3, 3. So player 2 has rolled a 4, 4, 4. That's 400 points not on the board yet. Now player 2 has to roll 3 more dice. So if player 2 rolls 3 dice, there's a 4 there, but I'm going to pretend I hadn't rolled yet. 5, 1, and 2. Well, he rolled a 5. That's 450 points. You need 2 more. All right, let's pretend I did roll this. 5 and 1. So I rolled another 5. This would be 500 points. And a 6. Sadly, a 6 does not equate. If I had 3 6s on the board, that would be another 100. So that would be 600, 650, 7, and then 800 I'd be on the board. But these triples are 4s. Doesn't do anything for me. It's similar to Yahtzee in some respects, but in other respects it's its own game. So yeah, you just lost 500 points down the shitter. So it's now player 1's turn again if we're doing 2-player. And I have 750, I'm on the board, so I can roll anything I want and keep it. So here's my roll. 1, 2, 2, 2, 4, 6, 200. Since player 2 is not on the board yet, I would just keep it and say, okay, I rolled 200 points. This is where the 2's come into play. Okay, so now I have 950 points. You're up. Player 2 will roll 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 6. So player 2 has rolled 3 4s again, which is cool. Now player 2 has to roll 3 die. We'll roll 3 die. 5, 1, and 2. Well, you have to keep points. If you don't have points showing, your turn's over. So 5. And the second dice roll was a 5 and a 4. We'll go with that. I know usually I reset, but let's just pretend he rolled a 4 and a 5. So now he rolled a 4 and a 5, which is good because 400 plus another 4 will be 500. These 50s are 50 apiece. 550, 600. Player 2 has rolled 600, but still is not technically on the board yet because hasn't reached 750. So now all 6 dice, player 2 would pick up 6 dice, go back to the 6 dice and say, roll. 3, 5, 3, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3. Player 2 has rolled 3, 3, 3, and 5. So 3, 3, 3, and 5. If I was player 2, I would stop there and say, well, that's 350 points. I now have 950 points. I'm on the board, and look, we're tied. So that's how the game works. That's Bones in a nutshell. After that, you go up to whatever you're going up to, 2,000, 5,000, whatever. Again, 5s change the rules a little bit because they're worth 50 by themselves, but 500 when you roll a triple. Every other 3 numbers are worth their number equivalent of 100, and any number rolled after that is worth another 100 points. Some people say, well, 3 4s and a 4, that's another 400 points. No, it's not. It's 500 because 400 plus 100. So that's Bones, the dice game. Sorry for the crudity of this video. I just wanted to explain it because actually I'm kind of reaching out to all my subs because if anyone can program this in a Visual Basic program, something really simple which holds your hand like Visual Basic does, I'd be interested in playing something. And I think Visual Basic supports, no, Java supports online. You'd have to actually program it in Java. So it would support logging in or sharing or something. I'd love to play Bones with people sometime. It's more fun to play with physical dice, but what dice game isn't? RNGs are, you know, fun on their own, but at the same time they get a little stale because you're seeding off your computers, whatever. Anyway, there's Bones for you. Hope it was informative. Hope you learned a new game, and if you already knew it, this is another variant of it if you knew it in another name and other rules. Post below Post below if you've heard of the game, if you've come across another rule set for it. Again, rolling a straight 1 to 6 is 1,200 points. There's no other rule. 3 ones is what you really want because that's 1,000. And then every one after that's 100. You really want ones. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.